You know, I come from a football background, and I was pretty excited when I found CrossFit. I obviously, you know, wasn't playing football anymore. I've only been doing CrossFit for a few years, 6 I think. So I wasn't playing, but one of the things I often thought is that I could use this high intensity thing mixed with some football stuff, and it would be like pretty awesome for football players. And so I didn't get a bunch of football players to train with me early on, but I did get a baseball player to train with me, and he was a high school guy, and I was pretty excited. And so, you know, the thought was I could get him to get totally exhausted and maybe pick up a bat and start swinging it, and that might be a real good way to get him. And all of a sudden I started thinking, I was like, you know, I'm not a baseball coach. I probably don't want to be messing with his swing, you know, in baseball. And so we often see people take the sport-specific training, try to incorporate it a bunch into what we're doing, and really that's not what most of us are about. How many of you actually in here are football coaches? Cool. How many of you are baseball coaches? Okay, any wrestling coaches in here? I know we had 1 or 2. Yeah, wrestling coach, all right. What about volleyball coaches? Any volleyball? Okay, we got 1 in here. So the rest of us shouldn't probably be using the volleyball, wrestling mats, and things like that in our workouts. What we probably should be doing is doing what we do best, coaching CrossFit and giving a good general fitness that will allow them to plop right on top their sport-specific training. Now, I will also tell you that you have to moderate the amount of CrossFit that you're giving based upon the season that your athletes are in. In season, you probably want a whole lot less CrossFit and a whole lot more of their sport. You can moderate that minimally throughout the year, but what do you have to actually keep your eyes on? Their sport, especially if they're a group of people that are feeding their family based upon their performance. You see a degradation in performance there because you've increased this, and I tell you, you're going to have major problems. What we want to see is you moderate this based upon how well they're doing and what part of the season they're in. When the seasons shift, they go through their in season, we can now start to ramp up the CrossFit portion and see more of that and allow them to still do some of their sport-specific training based on the requirements from their coach or from their sport. Where we really get into a real challenge is where we have athletes that don't have a season. It's like they are year-round athletes and their fights or things like that come up periodically. Then obviously what you have to do is base your CrossFit training on what happens or when their actual fight is coming up, their event. And you base that as you get closer. You probably want to minimize that and ramp up more of their fighting, so on and so forth, depending on who that athlete is, cyclist, whatever. Okay?